I'm Chronix from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your Superstars review for March 22nd, 2012. Haven't done a Superstars review in a long time, but hey, I watched it, I might as well review it. First match of the night is Epico and Primo with Rosa, the tag team champions, versus the most random tag team of all time, Mason Ryan and Alex Riley. I probably shouldn't think that this is a very random tag team, seeing how most tag teams that we see are quite random, but hey, it is what it is. You gotta have these guys get in a match somehow, I guess, so might as well just throw them together. I'm pretty sure that's what they thought when they made this match. But Mason Ryan looking more jacked up, I guess you could say, than ever. Even Scott Stanford says, this guy reminds me of, and then he stopped, he kind of changed the subject, talked about Rosa or whatever. But I thought it was funny, the guy can't even say what he was going to say. I wonder if he was going to say, this guy reminds me of Batista? That's what I would have said, and I'm pretty sure he can't say that. But who knows, he didn't say. It will always be a mystery. This match was pretty much all Alex Riley being in the ring. Alex Riley was taking care of most of the match, which is good, because I really like Alex Riley. I'm sad to see he went from being the sidekick of the main event of WrestleMania down to Superstars, but hey, maybe he can make it back up, who knows. Mason Ryan finally gets in the match after all this time, gets the hot tag. And, I mean, I guess that's good, because I've never seen Mason Ryan do anything very impressive, except for what he just did, pick up people and throw them, because that's what he's really good at. The guy looks like he's definitely been taking his vitamins and saying his prayers, because he looks bigger than ever. And out of nowhere, and I say out of nowhere because I believe it was out of nowhere, there is a double team move done to Mason Ryan. One move. And this one is done, son. Can you believe it? This big behemoth guy who can pick up and throw him and toss him around with his huge muscles goes down with one move. Well, I was entertained by the match. Epico and Primo are awesome. Now we have another match. It's another tag team match. Can you believe it? It is Eve and Beth versus Tamina and Natalie Neidhart. Can you believe it? This match was good. I can't believe I'm saying this. They didn't even have a Divas match on Raw, but this match was actually good. It was good because it was entertaining. They didn't have to do a spot fest. They didn't have to do a lot of anything. They had this one nice little spot where Beth Phoenix, the champion, the Divas champion, invites Natalie Neidhart to leave the ring. You know how she does? She pulls down the rope and she's like, ah, get out of here. You can't wrestle. So Natalie Neidhart actually does it. She walks out. And then with the champion's back turned, she comes back in and hits her from behind. So it's little things like that that just made the match entertaining. And they didn't have to go all out and try to do all this impressive stuff. They could just use a little bit of psychology. And I applaud that. Now, where the match takes a downward spiral is actually at the very end. So all is good with the world, right? Because we have Eve. She's a big heel. People are liking her as a heel and responding to her. So I gotta say thumbs up to you, Eve. I can't believe you became such a good heel so fast. But she goes for a moonsault. And at first, it looks like it's going to be good. Looks like she's going to do a butt bounce while she's on the top rope, but she doesn't do that, so I sigh a little bit. But my sigh turns into, you know, just a sigh to straight up anger as she does a moonsault that looks horrible. She looks like she almost drove one of her knees into Tamina's crotch. But that did not happen. She actually, I don't think, hurt her, or, you know, but it was a little rough and a little bit misplaced, a little bit misjudged. Anyways, Eve and Beth Phoenix win the match. Now we got Titus O'Neil and Yoshitatsu having a match against each other. This match was a little bit too long for my taste. You got two guys that most people, you know, the average wrestling fan doesn't know who these people are. Or they might have seen them once or twice. At least they're not emotionally invested in these guys. These guys go out there. Titus O'Neil brings some heat. He's got some natural talent, I must admit, with his tiny little tights and his humongous body. But he's got something. Yoshitatsu is good at what he does, but they're just not really well known at this point. So it just felt like it went on too long, and the crowd really wasn't responding that well to it for as long as it went. So a sky high at the end, and I say sky high like it's D'Lo Brown because Josh Matthews called it the sky high. Titus O'Neil wins. Now we have Ezekiel Jackson versus Drew McIntyre. And Ezekiel Jackson is huge. Drew McIntyre's trying to get heat. On his entrance, he really gets absolutely no heat. until they actually starts coming out, so I have to wonder if they added in some boos. The match was fine. Drew McIntyre's getting the facial expressions down, and he's looking better. And he actually wins this with the Future Shock, which is a double-arm DDT. Drew McIntyre wins, and it looks like he's on somewhat of a roll. The match wasn't bad. Glad to see Drew McIntyre getting some positive something, I can't think of the word, in my book. Drew McIntyre is definitely getting on my good list finally, and it's not just because he's winning. Finally, in my eyes, I'm seeing a little bit in him, but please, please God, change your entrance music, because no one reacts to it. I don't like silent entrances. If you're a heel, they should boo, and they don't.